Welcome back. The panel is here. NBC News chief Washington correspondent and foreign affairs correspondent Andrea Mitchell, NBC News senior Capitol Hill correspondent Garrett Haake, Kimberly Atkins Stohr, senior opinion writer at the Boston Globe, and Wall Street Journal columnist Peggy Noonan. Thank you to all of you for being here on a very busy Sunday. Andrea, I want to start with you to sort of set the table here and take us behind the scenes of how these horrific attacks unfolded. I mean, there is a backdrop to all of this that you have been reporting on for quite some time.
No, absolutely. But first of all, the news that the Secretary of State made with you just this morning, which is that they are looking into reports that Americans could be among the hostages and among the dead killed in this horrific attack, the surprise attack, and the surprise factor, the intelligence failure, clear in Israel, potentially because of its domestic problems, the big divisions for a year, those protests, which affected the intelligence community and the military as well. It's a big distraction. The possible distraction here, our own divisions here in the U.S., not focused on that. And the fact that they were really focused a lot on trying to reshape the Middle East, reshape the map, a very big potential deal with Saudi Arabia, which would isolate Iran further. Saudi Arabia potentially recognizing Israel, it would change the map, going back to 1948, but not really focused enough. The president did, but the other players did not focused enough on the Palestinians, their grievances, which had been exacerbated under the Netanyahu's right-wing coalition. So there was violence on both sides escalating in the last year.
And as I was discussing with Ambassador Nikki Haley, the fact that settlement houses have expanded thousands under former President Trump. Yes, absolutely. Garrett, Andrea talks about the instability, those protests in Israel over the proposed judicial reforms by Prime Minister Netanyahu. We are seeing instability right now. I was just talking, obviously, to Congressman Matt Gaetz about it and asking him, what can Congress do if Israel asks for more aid? Talk a little bit about your reporting. Is Congress in a position to deal with this crisis, both in terms of intelligence briefings and in terms of providing any more aid if asked?
Not immediately. I mean, they'll get the briefings that they need, and that could happen fairly quickly. Members have already started getting some unclassified briefings. Even the Speaker pro tem, we understand, could get the same information that would normally be available to the Speaker if the administration wants to make that happen. It is the White House's intelligence. They can make it available to whom they see fit. But in terms of acting quickly, whether to pass a supplemental appropriations bill to get more money to Israel, that's not going to happen, at least until you have a Speaker. We don't even have a Senate-confirmed ambassador to Israel right now. Jack Blue's been nominated, but the Senate hasn't even held a hearing on that yet. So there's plenty of work for Congress if they wanted to jump into this space more aggressively. The reality is, over time, Congress has ceded so much of its national security authority to White Houses past and present anyway, but there is room for them here if they can get their act together this week.
Peggy, such an important point. There's not even an ambassador confirmed, and these tensions go back decades, years.
Oh, God, yes. And it all takes place within the context, what's happening now, of what we are discussing. A sense of civic instability in Israel. The controversialness of Prime Minister Netanyahu, his decisions, the whole sense that that country is going at itself. It was vulnerable. They went at it. And in return, in the United States, there's a sense, you look to the U.S., what are we thinking? And there was, unfortunately, this week, that awful chaos on the House where one of our great parties, we have only two, looked like it was being taken over by flakes and eccentrics, and it didn't look too stable either. So a difficult time, which adds to this difficult moment.
And notwithstanding what Garrett said, that the most of the national security and foreign relations ball has been ceded to the White House, it has not gone unnoticed in the world what the instability in the House is doing. This is supposed to be the leader. We're supposed to be the leader of the world, and we have a party that cannot even seem to govern itself, barely be able to pass a budget. That certainly has led to the instability abroad and the lack and the concern among our allies that it's maybe giving our adversaries an advantage.
We have less than a minute for all of you. Final thought. You heard the frustration among those voters there. that I interviewed. Andrea, we are discussing this in a moment of deep frustration here at home.
Deep frustration. This is not good for President Biden, for the administration, in any context, because it's an unexpected event. Jake Sullivan only a week ago was saying that the Middle East is quieter. He said, unless something else happens. Well, something else did happen.
It sure did.
To me, a ton of pressure on Republicans this week to get their act together and elect a speaker, prove they can do it. Matt Gaetz saying that he would support either Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise makes me a little more optimistic they may.
With that focus group, third-party thinking, I think the biggest thing third-party has to do is prove that in this stasis, they could actually do something and make it better.
Yes or no, Speaker this week?
I don't know, but
okay, we'll see. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, because if it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.